What's up, y'all? It's Friday. Friday happens so quick these days for me. I'm like chilling, it's Monday or something, and then all of a sudden something will happen. Bam! It's Friday, right? What's happening for me? It's like, it was nice and cool for a little bit here in Brooklyn, and then it got hot again, I feel like. Last night I did a pretty fun thing, sort of. It was like a fun thing combined with some scary things, I would say. It's kind of my last night situation. It was sort of about, okay, so check it out. You know about Greenwood Cemetery? Portuguese Captain, Null Bitmap. Good to see you guys. Halloweeny things, yeah, kind of. Okay, so every year at Greenwood Cemetery, they have this thing that I've been doing for the past 2 years called Nightfall, which is like a big party in the cemetery where they have music and dance performances and like magicians and like clowns and all sorts of weird stuff. It's actually really pretty cool. Actually, I guess I can just Google this, right? Nightfall Greenwood. I can just be like, hit you up with this stuff, right? So each year they do something like this. This year is different because of COVID, right? Is my internet dead? How could it be dead? Is greenwood.com dead? That's probably what it's about. Anyway, you see this? This is kind of the vibe right here. You go to this thing in the cemetery at night, and you basically just chill it. It's pretty fun. Here's the thing. This year, because of COVID, they didn't have this. Mr. Sunday but Spooky, it's a little bit different than Mr. Sunday, but this year they had instead, it was called To America. To America. So I went to America, which was sort of more of a curated performance thing. And there was a tour guide, and they led us around to have some, artistic performances at different sites in the cemetery. It was quite cool overall. Here's the only thing about it. It happened to be the day that we chose, my girlfriend and I, for our parents to meet each other. So kind of intense. My parents and her dad, that was the plan. So we had everybody buy tickets to this thing. Yo, what's up, Yoda Droid? In the past, we've gone with Becca's parents. That's something that we do each year, to this party thing. This year, COVID, not party, more serious. Also, we invite my parents because we thought it'd be fun. Like, let them meet each other and stuff like that. But it was kind of intense because it wasn't really such a party at all. It was really quite serious. All the musical pieces were very intense. We're talking about racism, slavery, problems with America. You know what I mean? Like, what are the issues that are plaguing us today during COVID, during political season, during problems? You know what I mean? So it was really an engaging in the conversation kind of night. And so I was very anxious because at the same time that we were seeing this sort of intense performance, we were also trying to awkwardly get my parents to meet Becca's dad and his girlfriend. So, it was pretty intense. It's pretty intense. Haven't we been together forever? Yeah, we've been together for a while, but they haven't met yet. I don't know. I think it's due to my own anxiety. Why didn't that happen? Because when do you make your parents meet the other person's parents, right? What the heck? What kind of crazy question even is that? How are you supposed to know what to say? Anyway, so that was what I was doing last night. I think in the end it went fine. I think there could have been more times for conversation. There wasn't that much time for conversation. And what are you even supposed to say? How do you meet? My parents, my parents are 73. What do you do to introduce 73-year-old people to other people about that age? It's awkward. I just don't know what that's like. I just don't know, dude. Yo, what's up, Varun? Thanks for joining in. We're just doing a little bit of pre-stream chatter about my life. I appreciate you listening to my monologue here. When I started dating, my mother told me not to introduce any girls to her unless I was going to marry her. Lol. Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's a reason, right? It's a kind of a big step to try to, well, wait a minute. Okay. So you're saying that's a different thing. That's don't bring the girls to your mom. This is more so yeah, what would be your mom's criteria for bringing the girl's parents to meet the mom, right? Like that's even like a weirder step. Who even has to do that stuff, right? Like what kind of crazy thing is that? Man, I don't get it. Humans and social are really complicated things. Anyway, so the point is that we did this thing and it was, you know, it was stirring. Some really good performances there. If you live in Brooklyn, do events at Greenwood Cemetery. It's really cool. It's a beautiful park. Happens to be full of graves, but it's a beautiful park, well curated. There's paths, there's stuff to do. You know, it's really pretty awesome. And they do a lot of really good music there, a lot of really good dance, a lot of good, like, you know, creative arts essentially in the cemetery. So I'm very much into it. I think the reason that I thought of that is that, you know, I brought my jacket there because I thought it was gonna be cold, but it was kind of hot. So I was like walking around a little hot. She said if I'm gonna marry the girl I'm seeing, then I can introduce her to my mom. She told me that she doesn't want to get attached to a girl. Yeah, I mean, okay, fine. Like, yeah, moms, man. I get it. We all love them. We love our moms. It's an important, if they're still around, we love them in many cases. Oh boy. All right. So what else is up, right? So here's a kind of weird thing that happened, you guys. Let me share my desktop again. So check this out. I started my stream and I get retweeted by Twitch SIE.
Everybody knows that
Yo,
relational databases
thank you for the 6 months.
They use joins,
Holy absolute mackerel.
Joins and write to disk.
Appreciate that. I appreciate those 6 months of support and friendship. But what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Use Twitch SIE and Let's Grow Streamers. I don't even know. Like, oh, we are not affiliated with Twitch. It's just like a random person. Okay, never mind. I take it all back. Have you been impacted by the great Twitch DMCA purge of 2020? No. I've heard about that. People have been complaining about it, but I haven't seen that affect me whatsoever. I have been catfished. I have been badly catfished, 100%. Yeah. Can you imagine making a profile with this picture and then not being affiliated with Twitch? It's like kind of scummy. It's kind of scummy, dude. Plus, Portuguese Captain, I don't play copyrighted music on the stream. I play music made by a person who makes music designed to be streamed. So that person is named Matt Cherney. Matt Cherney.
Everybody knows that.
Yo, Portuguese Captain,
don't
thank you for the 4 months. This is some good deals. You got that Prime sub, dude. Really appreciate it. Yo, Faust, how are you doing? So here's the music, right? Cherney Beats, royalty-free music for content creators. If they DMCA this, I think I'm in bad trouble. That would be kind of crazy. I think that they can't do that. Anyway, so let's get into it maybe. DMCA free chiptune playlist, that's pretty cool. I should check that out, honestly. Yeah. So let's do some programming. There's a lot of exciting things happening in the CockroachDB world right now, you guys. Let me tell you, like, man, oh man, there's some really exciting things. The first thing that I want to tell you about, and it might blow your mind, prepare your mind for being blown, but we removed RocksDB from the source code. Like, what? We're talking Pebble only. So check this out. You know, you got your CDEPs in here. There's no RocksDB in here. Oh wait, why is it still there? I think it's because of my Git tree, right? Untracked. So I can delete these. CDEPs, CryptoPP. I don't even know what that is, but I don't like it. CDEP Snappy. I think there's some messed up stuff when you like rebase in between branches because they're submodules or something. But the point is, these things are just not even. Uh-oh, change my scene. Big problem. You just don't need that stuff anymore. It's beautiful. So that's like a big change for everybody who's building this thing. It's going to be a lot faster. It's going to be a lot cooler, a lot better. But it's very exciting. That's big changes. So here's what I wanted to mess around with today. I know I'm doing a lot of messing around and not a lot of finishing projects, but I think that's just life. You know, that's just what you do if you can only really program on Fridays. We still do need Sego because of Kerberos. We also need Sego because of this thing called Proj. Proj, which is a new thing that we have, which is for geospatial stuff. libproj. Proj is a generic coordinate transformation software that transforms geospatial coordinates from one coordinate reference system to another. So I don't know too much about this stuff, but we need this. Sad gay. Yes. I don't. Is that something? Is that like a better TTV thing that I have to get?
Everybody knows that relational databases don't
Yo,
scale
Yoda Droid,
because
thank you
they
so
use
much for the
joins,
2 months of subscription. I really appreciate that.
joins, and
I
write
got
to
an
disk.
emote thanks to your subscription. What's my emote? K-pop glow? Wow. Well, thank you for that celebrate K-pop emote. It's pretty exciting. It's pronounced like badge. I don't know how it's pronounced, man. I don't even know what that thing means. I really don't. Like, you're the one who told me about it. All right, so here's what I want to mess with. Check this out. Check this out. Let's say I have a table. Whoops, that's not how you do inserts, right? Let's say we've got this table. A common thing that happens in the world of databases is that people are going to have a big table full of stuff that's being updated a lot. Let's say like this A table, I don't know, a lot of people are writing to it. And at the same time, we also want to be doing like aggregations on top of it or something like that. You know, we want to be doing these sort of big scans or transformations or analytical queries on top of these, on top of this data. That can be really tough for a database like Cockroach, or really any database that uses serializable isolation.
How are you going to do that? By
Yo,
guessing.
Nox316, thank you so much for the follow. Because you have to, like, either the insert is going to have to restart or the scan is going to have to restart. If you're reading the whole table, they kind of contend with each other, and that can be big problems. And so there's kind of a bunch of different ways to get around this, but fundamentally, you know, you have to do something to get around it that's probably going to be unpleasant. And one thing that we really like to recommend to people is this sort of as of system time thing, which is basically what we call reading it a little bit in the past. So if I said, I could say select star from A as of system time, and then specify a thing like this, minus 30 seconds. And this is going to give me a view of A 30 seconds ago. So if I inserted another row into the table, insert into A values 4, and then I said select from A as of system time minus 30 seconds, I'd still get the old view because 30 seconds ago I didn't have this value 4. And if I wait for a little bit, eventually this will obviously catch up and we'll be able to see the 4 after 30 seconds has elapsed since the insert. And by the way, I mean, if you're curious, the way that this all works under the hood is it's because of the fact that Cockroach uses MVCC, multi-version concurrency control, as a way to do its sort of transaction model. And the point of me saying this is to say that if you use a modifier like this, if you say, give me the data on this table in the past, we don't have to worry about that contention thing that I was talking about. If you're doing a lot of writes to this table and somebody's concurrently scanning the table 30 seconds into the past, we don't have the problem of that big read and those writes contending with each other. Everybody's happy. Your life is going to be much better, etc. But there are some circumstances in which we really can't like make this happen right now. Let me fix my keyboard cam here for a second for optimal viewing. The situation that we can't really do this in right now is if we wanted to do anything besides a read with this data. So I can say select star from A as of system time 30 seconds, but let's say I had another table, create table B, A int, and then I wanted to insert all the data from A into B as of system time minus 30 seconds. So I could say something like, normally I could say insert into B, select star from A, right? And that's gonna, you know, select all the rows from A and use them as the source of this insert statement. But let's truncate B and start again. If I wanted to say, give me all the rows from A 30 seconds ago, like this, as of system time, my window is too wide. well, anyway, just take my word for it. I'm saying minus 30 seconds here. We got an error message that says, as of system time must be provided on a top level statement. And this is in general kind of a bear of a problem to fix, which is the reason that we haven't fixed it yet. But what I was thinking of playing around with today is trying to make it so that a very simple subset of this, you can imagine that we could do any sort of complex mutation here, like, I don't know, common table expressions or inserts inside of other inserts or something like that. I don't really want to try to solve the general case because I think it's quite difficult. But I do want to look at a very specific case, which is this thing called create table as. Create table as is a common way of making a new table out of the result of a query. So you can say create table C as select star from A. It's going to make a copy of A, and it does it in sort of an efficient way. It's actually quite cool. Under the hood, this is not the same as me making a new table and doing inserts in it from A. It's actually going to be using a much more efficient pathway in the code that uses the same methods that we use to import bulk data. So for restores or imports, we do things that are faster than just the sort of transactional insert. We can write data to SS tables directly, and SS tables are the things that RocksDB used to store and Pebble now stores. It's sort of the on-disk representation of the data. So this is great, and this is really quite fast, but the problem is that if you were to do this kind of query, create table as select star from A, bringing it back to the earlier conversation, on a table that's having a lot of writes to it, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to have a very bad time because this is going to contend with every single one of those writes, and either the read's going to have to retry forever or the inserts are going to have to get held up. One of the two is going to happen, and you're just going to be in for sort of a bad time. So the dream would be able to say create table C as select star from A as of system time minus 30 seconds. This would be the dream. This is what we're going to try to make happen. I don't know how far we're going to get. It may be that it's going to be difficult in ways that I haven't looked at yet, but we're going to try to mess with it, and we'll sort of see what happens. I sort of have a vague plan for how to do this, and we'll see how far we get. Right. And sorry. So like the point of all this, right, is that if we could do this, then we're really going to be in a good situation because we can effectively like get this contended big data scans out of those hot paths into places where people can introspect them at will, do aggregations, don't have to worry about all of the contention that's happening on the table. Okay. So does that make sense? Anybody have questions? I'm going to try to make this happen, but if you are wondering what's going on, please chime in the chat with your questions. They don't just have to be about this particular project that we're messing with, but anything about Cockroach, I'm always happy to try to answer it to the best of my ability. So anyway, let us get right into it. Varun, it's getting late and you have to leave. Cool. That would be great. Well, thank you so much for stopping in. It was nice to meet you on the Twitch chat, and see you next time. So, thank you, Varun. Appreciate that. So the thing that I'm going to start with here is I know that we're getting this error, right? As of system time must be provided on a top level statement. So what I want to do is search for where that error is coming from. I think that might be a good place to start. As of system time. Do I intend to finish it on the stream? I mean, that would be the dream, right? But it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. I think that Droid, like the thing that's lucky about this project is that I do know those sort of missing pieces, and it's not that bad of a missing piece. There might be some like annoying plumbing that might get in our way, but it's not like a giant new project or something. Like all of the like components are sort of there to solve this. It's just, can we sort of put them all together? I don't know. As of system time must be provided. So where does the error come from? So validate as of seems to be the source of this error. ensures that any as of system time timestamp is consistent with that of the root statement. And we take an as of clause and we check against some other thing inside of the semi-context, which is kind of this, just sort of like a metadata bundle that we pass around during planning. So it's saying that if we see an as of clause and we don't already have a as of timestamp set on this semi-context, it means that something went wrong and we can't do it anymore, I guess. So I guess maybe the next step would be to try to figure out where we're setting this semi-context as of timestamp thing. As of timestamp denotes the explicit as of system time timestamp for the query, if any. If the query is not an as of system time query, as of timestamp is nil. Right. So let's see where we set this. We set it all in a bunch of different places. For regular statements, the ones that get to this point, we don't return any event. So if it's an implicit transaction, then we do some special stuff. I wonder why there's a special case for that, implicit versus explicit transaction. I feel like in this case, we probably don't really care about explicit transactions, probably. So I'm not going to mess with that. I think I'll just stay inside of this clause. And what we do is we check this p.isAsOf thing, which I guess analyzes an AST for a quote unquote top level as of system time query. And it looks like, yeah, okay. So we have some special cases. We've got a select, scrub, export, create stats, export. That's pretty interesting. So we support something. We support export as of system time. We support explain as of system time, scrub as of system time, and select. But we don't support create table. So I guess like the first step, if we really wanted to hack something in that really won't work, I think, and we're gonna have to do this anyway, is that we will add a new case for this create table statement. And we can validate that it is in fact always a create table as, which I think is gonna be true if as source is set to non-nil. So we'll say, if we see a create table, if s dot as source is not equal to nil, then we can return p dot is as of and pass it through to the as source, I think. So this is saying that create table as select blah 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 as of system time will be a valid as of system time query, which I think is basically what we want here. And otherwise, I guess, maybe what we'll do is we'll say if this is equal to nil, then we're going to return nil nil. So this is sort of the opposite direction of the if condition. And this is going to happen if we don't have an as, and if it's just an ordinary create, we of course don't want to have an as of system time thing because that doesn't really make all that much sense. Okay, so out of curiosity, what would happen if we built this thing at that point? I think probably what'll happen is we'll just get some like weird unpredictable results, but that might be kind of fun to look at. I'm excited to see this new build process actually, because it doesn't include RocksDB anymore, which is good. Seems like we still have to compile protobuf every time, which seems a little bit unnecessary, but I have heard claims that the team is working on no longer needing to build lib protobuf in its entirety every time. All right, so I think the next thing that we would need to start thinking about, assuming that this works, is we're gonna have to try to figure out what to do with this timestamp. And that's sort of the fundamental question in all of this, because normally what as of system time does is it sets the transaction timestamp of the entire query to be that historical time that the person specified. But in this particular case, it's not really what we want to do. What we actually need to do is keep the transaction timestamp, like sort of leave it alone, but make sure that the backfill of the that we're gonna run is as of that timestamp. So we're gonna leave alone the timestamp of the transaction, but change the backfills transaction timestamp, or the backfills timestamp, I guess I could say. And so, yeah. I think that, okay, so this is the condition that we saw earlier, right? Setting this semi-context as of timestamp thing. This is the thing that we check against when we ban the as of, like, deeper into the tree. We saw that in the opt builder. We saw if we see an as of and this semi-context thing is instead, we blow up. So the question is, can we possibly... I'm like a little nervous if we just blindly set this as of timestamp to the thing that we found in that clause. Will confuse other things. And so fundamentally, I feel like what we need to do is actually, we probably need to transform, like when we see this kind of timestamp, what we probably need to do is, like, instead of just kind of returning it all the way to the top, I feel like what we really want to do is, like, remove it as of system time thing at all, like remove that from the AST or from the tree or whatever, and set inside of create table a special timestamp or something like that. I feel like, I mean, that's not exactly right because we don't really like to mutate ASTs, but the point is that we sort of want to remove the as of timestamp from the top level of the query and instead replace it with something that, like, the backfill is going to know about later. I'm just going to turn on my light because I feel like it's getting a little dark in here. Hey, Lithium, what's up? What we're working on is making it so that you can... Yeah, I was gonna say we're working on historical backfills. Does that help? Isn't that crystal clear, or is it clear as mud? So I'll show you an example as soon as this thing finishes building. It's like when you start dating an ex, exactly. It's backfilling your heart's feelings from another time. It's not, I don't know if it's really working. But the idea is that we want to be able to create a table based on another table's content at a particular timestamp to prevent contention during that copy, if that makes sense. So I think that what we need to do is we need to sort of enhance this is as of thing helper method to return us a little bit of extra information, I want to say. It's either that or we do just edit the AST. Like, I know we're not really supposed to do that. I guess that does sort of feel wrong. Would this be a good way to make in database table snapshots? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the kind of thing that we want to be thinking about with this. I think this is like a user defined way of doing it, to be sure, but yes, it's pretty much that, Yoda. The thing that's, yeah. You're welcome, Lithium. Oh, I see. Thanks for training Luke. I was like confused. You're thanking Yoda for training Luke, and I also appreciate Yoda for that. So thanks everybody for just all being so great. So the idea is that we want to be able to say, we have a table A. This is our example from earlier. And we want to be able to say create table C as select star from A, but we also want to be able to say create table D as select star from A, and then here we want to be able to say as of system time minus 30 seconds. And I just hacked something in here Yeah, so something else like went completely wrong here, but that's okay. That is okay. What we did is we removed a limiter, right? We like opened the fourth chakra gate, but we didn't like implement the fourth chakra gate or something like that. So by removing this, we just sort of hung the query and we have no idea what it's doing, but that's exciting. Out of curiosity, what was it doing? It's going to be hard to read this go routine dump, I think. So I'm just going to not do it. I think it would be a better use of our time to just try to get some of this stuff sort of right. So what we do here is that we delegate the as of thing to the source query. And I think what we really want to do here is like, Guy Sensei would be proud. Oh man. What I... I need to have this picture like, I don't know, somewhere on my stream, I feel like. This is just the best picture of all time. It's just so good. Like, what if it sort of, what if I just sort of like left it over here? He's always watching, reminding me to do my best at all times. It should be my Halloween costume. It should be my Halloween costume. That would be amazing. Have you there? There have been some pretty bad looking Halloween costumes of Rock Lee that I've seen in the past. They're like good and bad at the same time. Like, it's just disturbing. The most important thing is having the ankle weight so you can drop them, you know? Anyway, enough of that. I think what we kind of need to do is make it so that you have like a bowl haircut IRL. We need to make it so that we're going to store this timestamp, but not on the semi-context. We need to like return extra information here that we are a create table as statement or something like that. It's almost as if like we want to return a Boolean that says that it's been handled by somebody else or something like that. I guess we can start with that, right? We can start by saying, let's refactor this function so that instead of just returning a timestamp and an error, it also returns a Boolean. And the Boolean is going to be whether or not we want to set the transaction timestamp or something. So basically in every case, we want to change the transactions timestamp, except for the case that we just added. And let me add this to the documentation here. So we'll call this the timestamp. We'll call this the set txn timestamp. Something like that. And then, oh wait, we actually need to change this one here. So instead of just returning p.isAsOf, we've got to capture this thing. So this is the timestamp. This is the set timestamp. And then here we need to return ts false error, something like that. So These named return parameters are always getting me confused, honestly. Like you want to put them for self-documentation, but you don't want to be able to set them. So here we're going to return the timestamp. We're also going to return true, that in normal cases we will set the transaction timestamp. This fall through case honestly is really confusing. It's like create stats falls through, scrub falls through, select falls through. I guess they fall through when they have an explicitly set as of timestamp. But in our case, we don't fall through. In create table, if we have an as source, we delegate to our sources timestamp. Then we set, okay, do not set my transaction timestamp. Okay, cool. So back to is as of, the callers of this thing. We have a couple different ones. I think here, I guess we'll basically just add this as a pattern. We set this Boolean, and instead of only doing it when proto-ts is not equal to nil, we also need to add the condition and set txn timestamp.
Data banks.
Hey, Boo Alwa, thank you for the follow. And then it's the same over here. So set txn timestamp, set txn timestamp. And only if set txn timestamp is true are we going to go through with this stuff. So okay, so the question then is, what do we do when this is false, right? What do we do when we're not setting the transaction timestamp? Ultimately, what we need to do is like communicate to where we do this create table as planning thing that we have a timestamp to set. And that's what I need to figure out next. So if I go over to create table, this is the code that gets run when we create a table. And this is the code that gets run when we're doing a create table as. You can see we check this condition, or do we have this as clause thing? And that's when we're going to do this logic. And by the way, that just reminds me that when we did this check earlier, we should have been using that helper. So instead of just saying s as sort is equals to nil, we should say s dot as, or if not s dot as, we get out of there. Okay. So once we're in this create table, we've got to figure out some stuff now. So I think like, yeah, so for example, we can't write this descriptor with the as of timestamp. That has to be the actual transaction timestamp or things won't work. What we need to do, I guess, is like make it so that the schema change that we write, I guess there's two things that could happen. Either we do the create table as synchronously, which happens here. And I guess in these cases, what we need to do is set the timestamp of this. I mean, there's even a comment about it, right? It says the data fill portion of create as must operate on a read snapshot so that it doesn't end up observing its own writes. So I think there's already some handling of that, but where? It's kind of funny. I mean, it says that, but then I don't see. Is that what this is about? Configure stepping? I have no idea what this means. Configure stepping configures stepwise execution in the transaction. Sequencing point behavior. This is, I have no idea what this means. I feel like this is relatively new. Added last year. Make SQL statements operate on a read snapshot. Oh, this was about the Halloween problem. Oh, that's okay. Okay. Funny to talk about the Halloween problem during Halloween. You know about the Halloween problem? It basically means that if you're doing a write to a table that you're reading from at the same time, if you can see the writes that you're writing to that table, you get into kind of bad trouble. So I guess that's what this is about. It's not about what I thought. Essentially, like, oh, you know, I think actually, I think that this part of the code is not something that we're going to be able to touch now that I think about it, because I think that this doesn't use the backfill infrastructure. I think this is basically just a regular old school create table as that just in a transaction. It's completely transactional, I think, is what's happening here. Whereas the backfill version isn't. So I think actually in this case, we sort of ignore it. And in fact, it kind of makes me think that we need to be a little bit more tricky, like back in this situation, we sort of need to say, if we get into a create table as, and it's in an explicit transaction and it has a set transaction timestamp, I don't think we can actually do it. So that's a little bit, yeah. I'm not sure how to guard against that, but I guess we won't have to worry about it for now. Let's sort of, okay, so I'm gonna put a sidebar, like, essentially if we get into the explicit case and we haven't handled that, we should probably say something. So that's gonna be in create table. If we're doing a historical CTAS, we can't, I guess we should say if we're doing an explicit transaction, we can't do a historical create table as, so we should bail out. The truth is that I still don't know the condition that I'm going to be checking here. I just wanted to write this note for myself because I think that this would be quite bad if we tried to. I just don't think that it would make that much sense because this transaction isn't going to ever see that old timestamp. I think the thing that we need to do is actually isolated to up here, where we say, if we have an implicit transaction, we want to run create table as asynchronously and consequently ensure that it gets queued as a schema change. So this is sort of where we're at here. And I think the key is going to be setting up this new table descriptor in such a way that the backfiller does the read at a historical timestamp. One thing that I don't remember is where I think, okay, so there's a thing called maybe backfill create table as, and this is the function that actually does that backfill. So the question I have right now is like, what timestamp are we doing this backfill at? Is it this? It does look like it's this. Backfill query into table. It takes a timestamp and it sets the fixed timestamp of the transaction to that timestamp, and then it does its whole thing. So I think all we have to do is like guarantee that that timestamp is set to the as of timestamp, and then I think we'll be sort of good to go. So there's this thing, it looks like we pass in table.create as of time. And maybe if we just modify that to the right thing, we'll be sort of good to go. Starting in 19.2, create as of time is initialized to 0 for the first version of a table and is populated from the MBCC timestamp of the read. Like modification time? What does that mean? This is a generated file, so I'm going to the source file for it. Create, I guess it would be underscores, create as of. Starting in 19.2, create as of time is initialized to 0 for the first version of table and is populated from the MVCC timestamp of the read like modification time. I don't understand this like modification time thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm going to do an experiment, which is to say that I want to be able to set this thing to the timestamp of my choosing. So let's first see who even sets this in the first place. So we'll do pop this find out. It's so cool about, I don't know if you guys use Goland or IntelliJ, but you can segment a search by which type of, is it a read or a write access, which I'm just obsessed with that. It's so good. So this is interesting. It looks like we set this explicitly in a couple of cases. One is in create as of, maybe. And this one is what? This is just sort of bubbling something through. Which I don't think that we necessarily need to look at here. I think what we want to do is look at this other guy. Maybe set descriptor modification time from MVCC timestamp. However, starting in time 19.2, the create as of time and modification time fields are both unset for the first version of a timestamp, and the code relies on the value being set based on the MVCC timestamp. What is that about? This is interesting. This seems extremely relevant, but I don't know the right, like where we end up calling this, I guess. Okay, so maybe what we need to do is sort of look at, where do we initialize this table descriptor? Guess it's back up here. Where do we initialize this guy? Have we already initialized it at this point? Desk. New table desk if as. It seems like we've got to set that timestamp in this method already, right? Yeah, we have this creation time thing, right? So new table desk, creation time. And then that ends up actually setting this thing here. Okay, so I mean, this seems pretty good. It seems like we almost have the pieces that we need. Creation time gets passed into new table desk, and new table desk is literally called by our if as thing. So it almost seems like we just have got to play with this creation time thing. creation time is set to, wait a minute. Oh, this is confusing actually. It's initialized to a 0 value. So we're actually just setting it to nothing? That's deeply confusing. Maybe, I wonder what would happen if we just set it to something. Would we break a bunch of stuff? I don't know. I mean, we could try it. So like, so if we're in the as case, right? Essentially here, we want to say set creation time to the as of system time that was stored in our as clause if there was one. So we'll say if n.n.as_source. Oh yeah, how do we get our as, how do we get that? How do we pull that thing out? How do we pull that thing out? Do we have this planner, right? params.p.is as of, right? So I think we could call that on the source. Is that how this is normally done? I feel like it isn't. I feel like normally, oh yeah. Normally what we do is we check it from this sema-context thing. So I think what we would say is params.p.semacontext.as of timestamp. And here's the thing, is that at this point, we actually need to have 2 of these things. That's what's sort of tricky. And I wonder, what would happen if we just sort of, let's see, grab this and then unset it, right? So what if we said, I feel like that's not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. So we'll say creation time is equal to this. Then we'll say params.p.semacontext.as of timestamp equals nil. So we're going to use, yeah, there was one. Unset the as of system time. I feel like this is probably not the right way to do it because this is just going to be like the wrong time to be changing this stuff. And realistically, we probably want a different field because we're going to have confused other processes at this point. But I'm just going to start with this and see what kind of happens. What's wrong with this? Yo, Dirter, this is my project's out of date. I'm going to change it. Commands, edit, project. Trying to implement historical backfills for create table as. So the idea here is that we want to be able to do the following. Create table a int, insert some data into our table. The thing that we support today is saying create table C as select star from A. And that's going to do a current time serializable scan of A and insert all that data into C. But what I really want to be able to do is just like today, I can say select star from A as of system time minus 30 seconds to get a historical timestamp read. Whoops. Oh, it's historical, so it's reading a table and it didn't exist 30 seconds ago. But anyway, so like just as I can do this, getting a historical timestamp for the read so that it doesn't conflict with any other transactions, I want to be able to say create table D as select star from A as of system time minus 30 seconds. And we don't support this today for various like sort of silly reasons. So the goal was for me to try to fix that. Select star from A as of system time 30 seconds. So normally this is returning an error. I just removed the error, but now things just hang and are broken. So working on making this potentially work, which could be kind of cool. So we're gonna get our as of, what is wrong with this? I'm so confused. There's like a type mismatch. This is an HLC timestamp pointer, and this thing is an HLC timestamp non-pointer. So we just want to dereference the pointer, copy the timestamp into creation time, and then we're good to go. So then we unset the as of system time timestamp, so nobody else looks at it. This is, again, to do Jordan. This is a hack and probably needs to have a separate field on SEMA context that is just for CTAS. Okay. But theoretically, if we grab this timestamp, then we pass it into new table desk, then I think by the time that we get up into the backfiller, then we're going to be reading the timestamp of this thing, create table.create as of time, and it'll be historical and everything should just sort of work. cprate. Really important to get that to do stuff right. Yeah, the highest quality spell check system is a full Twitch chat full of extremely observant programmers all helping. Why do you need a machine when you can have highly paid software engineers? Am I right? Yeah. So I suspect that this is probably not going to work because of this to-do question, which is that I think that other people will already have looked at this timestamp and used it for the wrong things. Spell checking as a service, exactly. What's up, M. Dembski? Nice to see you. Okay, so if I do my C demo now, and I'll hit you with the, I should make a test for this. M. Dembski, I was watching on your stream the other day, and I noticed that you do the same thing that I do, which is that on stream, even perhaps if off stream, you would write a nice unit test and run that because it's faster. On stream, there's something about the stream that compels me to just recompile the database over and over, trying this thing that like probably won't work, instead of writing a unit test. I don't know what it is about streaming that does this to me, but there's got to be like an effect that does that. Just like, yeah, I don't know. So I insert my data, and I'm going to do create table C as select star from A as of, let's put it on a new line, as of system time minus 30 seconds. Quality content. Okay, as of system time must be provided on a top level statement. Oh, that's right. Okay, so the reason for this is that we undid the error removal thing that we did earlier on. Because we continued to, yeah, what we're doing is now setting this SEMA context as of timestamp directly to the thing from the top level. Right, more entertaining tests. Yeah, they've got to be super, super fun tests, I guess. So why would this be the case though? Because I thought the idea here was that we're only setting this field, the as of timestamp field, if we have a non-nil timestamp and we return true on this set transaction timestamp Boolean thing that we added. And I thought that if we hit this create table clause, and we do see an as of system time clause in our source select, then we end up returning false for set transaction timestamp. And I was expecting that to have prevented us from getting into this clause here. So I don't understand that quite yet. Do we go printf debugging, or do we go tests, or do we go delve? We're gonna start with some printf debugging. I wonder if it's that we ended up down here. I don't think we ended up down here. You know what we should also do is print out the statement. I think inevitably though, we're gonna have to be trickier than this, honestly. Because what we really want to do is just store the stupid timestamp in the problem is that we don't provide a good way of adding like hanger on fields to ASTs. Because what we really don't like to do is mutate ASTs. That's like a big anti-pattern for various reasons. Thing is, we do it in a couple of cases, and maybe this is like an allowable case to do it because no, it's probably not allowable. So the reason that we don't like to do it is that during analysis, if we mutate an AST, it could be the case that we cache that AST, and that if the analysis changes the next time that we look at it or something, then we like end up with non-stable stuff in cached statements, cached optimized statements, I guess is the idea. I feel like in this case, the analysis is just happening in a weird place, so it almost feels like acceptable to do this caching. Is this just like sort of a slippery slope thing though? I don't know. Okay, so, oh gosh, this is a lot of prints. I maybe should have used a logger. Anyway, so we'll make a table, we'll do our insert, we'll do create table as of system time minus 30 seconds. And here we get, in an implicit transaction, is as of returned, create table, see as select from blah. We see a timestamp, but then we see false. No, false is what we wanted though. So what's the deal with that, huh? If we see false, then we're not supposed to set the as of, right?
Databags.
Oh yeah, that's the entire point. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the reason that we're seeing the error is that we didn't set the semi-context timestamp. Okay. So it's basically like, yo, 5weird, by the way, thanks for the follow. It's either we do set this timestamp or we set some other signal that allows the optimizer to not throw that error later. And I feel like it's gotta be, where do we get that error from again? That is done. It's over here. So the quote unquote validation, it's just a little bit too simplistic, I want to say. That if we see an as of clause, then we just check to see whether we saw this already. I just feel like it just feels a little bit wrong. So what could we do instead? I mean, it's really like we want to mark this as of timestamp as like handled separately. That's kind of the thing. We want to mark it as handled separately. So what calls this, by the way? Validate as of. I see, it actually gets called by the select, which is pretty interesting because it kind of implies that, or the from. We just have to figure out. I feel like we want to leave it in the AST for real, because the whole point is that when we actually get to our create table as over here, that's the signal that we're going to use. Right? Or is it just that if there's ever an as of system time in any create table as at all, then we will already, maybe then the signal would be this thing, this semi-context as of timestamp, and we could like snip that part of the AST out. No, we don't like to snip things out of the AST. That's definitely an Andy pattern. Maybe we just need to, maybe we'll just, in our semi-context, we can just add a special field for this. So we can say like, we can say as of timestamp in backfill or something. I don't know. I feel like this is a little bit nasty, but maybe it's fine. I'll just try this out to see if we can make some progress. As of timestamp in backfill is set to true if the as of timestamp above is being used to set the timestamp of a historical backfill for create table as or other similar operations. By the way, the other similar operations, you know, you could imagine doing this for create materialized view, refresh materialized view, or like maybe other stuff. Exports, dumps. I don't know. Well, maybe not exports and dumps. It's really probably just the refresh and create materialized view. I don't know. Anyway, so this is going to be set to true if the as of types of or other similar operations, and not to set the actual transaction timestamp. Something like that. The problem is almost that we don't even want this to be set, because I think so many people mess with this thing that I think I'd rather just not set it. I'd rather just have a separate field. So, but what if we set this to be as of timestamp for backfill? It doesn't feel elegant. Not nil. If the query contains a backfill operation that is expected to perform at a user-defined timestamp or something, it's distinct from as of timestamp above, which is used to denote a user-defined transaction timestamp. I don't know. All right, so if this is the case, then what we need to do next is back in is as of. What we kind of want to do is like rejigger the meaning. Instead of calling this set transaction timestamp, it's really just like true if it's about the transaction's timestamp and false if it's about the backfill timestamp. Maybe we want this to be an enum instead of a Boolean, honestly. Let's make a quick enum. So type we'll call it as of timestamp type or something. So we'll say as of, transaction timestamp as of timestamp type is equal to iota. And we'll say backfill timestamp. So how about that? I don't know. So everywhere, and then instead of returning a Boolean, we'll say, rename this to be, well, we don't even need to have a name for it at this point since it's got a more sort of descriptive type name. So we'll say as of timestamp type, and then instead of returning true or false, maybe we want to have like invalid equals iota. I don't know. Thoughts on best practices for this, Go writers? Like when you have an enum, do you usually put a 0 value that's invalid? I feel like I do that as a matter of course, but I'm not sure if it's like a good thing. So here what we'll do is, this is nil nil, nil nil, nil nil, nil nil. In this case, we're going to return our backfill timestamp. In this case, it's invalid timestamp. In this case, it's transaction timestamp. I kind of like that, more or less. Okay, so then when we actually call this isAsOf, I tend to skip defining a zero value, use iota +1 for the first enum. That's kind of a cool idea. I've never thought of that. Yeah, because then here I guess I could just return 0. I like that actually, because I don't like invalid timestamp is just an awkward named constant to have and write. I think I'm going to try that out just since you gave the suggestion. It's kind of neat. I'm curious what people will think of that. Okay. So then the name of this thing is going to be, then you don't know what the 0 is. Probably want to use your named type in the const declaration too. Did I not do that? Oh yeah. Oh neat, you can kind of do that. I didn't know about that. As of timestamp type. I usually end up going like this, I feel like. I think there might be equivalent. Then you don't know what the 0 is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Enums, man. So this is going to be our timestamp type. So we'll say if as of timestamp is not equal to nil, if timestamp, I'll do switch timestamp type. We'll do case transaction type. What about sealed types? Wouldn't that be nice? Sealed switch statements. I really wish that we had those in Go. Case. What did I call it? The as of timestamp. No. Backfill timestamp. I wish this would fail to compile unless I had put all the cases or a default. So in this case, we'll say p.semicontext.as of timestamp for backfill is equal to as of ts. And then I think we're kind of good to go. I don't know what this is about, but I don't think it matters. So if we're in an explicit timestamp, right. So in this case, what we want to do is say if timestamp type, if
the data bank's too big. I have to narrow down the search.
Hey, Coin612, thanks for the follow.
Guessing.
Appreciate it. So here we'll say if timestamp type is equal to transaction timestamp, or backfill timestamp rather, then this is the case where we can't handle this. Can't handle this. We don't know how to do an explicit, let's say a CTAS with a historical read timestamp and a present write timestamp. Concha. Okay, so here we'll return pgerror.new f. What do we like to do? A syntax error? That doesn't feel quite right. Let's see. I think we do have an issue for this sort of thing. So let me search for that issue real quick. CockroachDB mixed timestamp as of system time. Mixed time queries. So I think what's one kind of cool thing that we have, whoops, why is this a closed issue? And why can't I drag this up to my other monitor? Oh, this became full screen. How do I undo that? I really don't like the native Mac full screen stuff. So there's this issue here. I've never tried the arc shape stuff. No, actually. So this is the issue that I'd like to link to. And what kind of cool thing that we do in Cockroach is that if we have an issue or like an expected error that comes out of the database and we know what it's related to on the issue tracker, we tend to provide a link to that thing for the user, which I think is actually quite cool. Because also if you click it, you will get an automatic thumbs up on that also, because we have like a, I don't know, like a little proxy that sees who clicks those links, which I think is pretty neat, pretty useful. Just some like analytics on the URL basically. But anyway, so I think what I can say here is I can say pgerror.new with issue or something. No. How do I get that with issue thing? Where does that live? New with issue? Oh, unimplemented.new with issue. That's right. Okay, so return make error event. Error is equal to unimplemented.new with issue. Why is there an issue and an issue with detail? I don't think we need this detail thing. So we'll say new with issue. Well, I think we do. We'll take the issue actually, the detail. So the issue is going to be number 35712. The detail is going to be called create table as in as of system, or we'll say CTAS, historical CTAS in explicit transaction. How about that? The format is going to be historical create table as unsupported in explicit transaction. Okay. The end. You, Faust, I'm sorry to hear that. How long does it take to hear back? I think that I think we got like a really, really, really big amount of intern applications this season. So I don't actually know, but they'll definitely get back to you one way or the other at some point. I'm sorry to hear that you botched it though. That always feels bad. But every interview is good practice, so you'll do better on the next one for sure. Sort of not the greatest advice, but yeah. So we've got these two timestamp types. In the backfill case, we set this new field. And then, oh yeah, we had one more thing to change, right? These as ofs, one more use of this thing that we saw in prepare, right? So here, timestamp type, now in this case, what is this about? This is about a prepared statement. So I think it's the same with this. We'll say if timestamp type is not equal to transaction timestamp. Wait, is this in a different package? No, it's not. transaction timestamp. Then we can return a similar thing like okay, so here we'll say unimplemented new with issue detail F. In this case, it's a little different. It's more like, I feel like this is sort of an unexpected error. Like, I don't think that you syntactically we permit saying prepare X as create table A int. I don't think this is like allowed. Wait, it is? I think it's sort of like a syntax issue at this point, or like a whatever. We'll stick with this one. So we'll say the thing that we're doing here is a historical prepared backfill or something. I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. Yo, Jay, what's up? Nice to see you. Okay. So now that we've done this, I think the next step is to go to that optimizer error that we were seeing before and remove it, because we now have sufficient granularity to avoid having to throw an error there. So I think that was here. Validate as of. If we get to validate as of, we can say if this is nil, let's see. I guess we'll have to say if b.semicontext.as of timestamp is not equals to nil, then we validate like this. And then we say else if b.semicontext.as of timestamp for backfill is not equal to nil. Then we do this. And then in the default case, we have to do this original error like this. By the way, these panics, not really panics, kind of more like exceptions. Yikes. No, we don't like to use the word exception in Go, but we do use them. I saw somebody was thinking about getting rid of recover, panic or something. Or getting rid of recover. I think that would be really bad for Cockroach. We would be pretty sad about that. Go authors. It's really convenient for us to have panic recover semantics for some of the subsystems, like the optimizer and SQL execution engines in particular. Yeah. It's just helpful. So let's see. Here are the three cases. We have an as of timestamp. In that case, this has to be true. Then we leave. Or we have a backfill timestamp, in which case this has to be true. Or we have nothing, in which case we always leave immediately. Okay, so let's go ahead and rebuild now. I think I can get rid of that print line now. Get rid of this. Make build short. We've got some Bazel builds now, by the way. That's another cool thing that some colleagues are working on. They have a pretty complete Bazelified build system. We didn't figure out how to add the tests to it just yet, but for the build, it is working. It's pretty exciting. You've been interested in Bazel, JB Pratt? Yeah, I think that I don't understand it yet, but it does seem like it could be a lot easier to maintain such a build system than our current hacked up makefile situation, which is not the easiest thing to understand or modify. So I'm excited about the sort of prospects there. And I think the most exciting thing for me about Bazel is actually going to be the implications for our CI system. Being able to more easily parallelize builds and tests is something that's really, really, really going to help, because our build is pretty slow and we have a lot of tests. And right now, the sharding of those tests for CI. So what happens when you push a pull request is that, we spin up a bunch of instances and do a bunch of stuff, but that sharding that we do, what tests go on which instances, is done completely by hand, and it's quite static and difficult to change. So one biggest reason I think I would be excited about Bazel is to make it a bit easier to improve the end-to-end speed of those CI runs. This stuff is serious engineering, by the way. It's kind of crazy. You start a company that's trying to build a product, but trying to get CI right, that's like a whole subsystem and really hard problem in and of itself. It's not just the product that's difficult to make. It's a lot of like side things that seem side, but they're not really side at all, right? Like having CI that's responsive and quick and reliable is like critical business activity, right? So it's important to get that stuff right. Okay, so let's see what happens now. We're gonna do our create table. We'll insert into our table, and we're gonna do create table C as select star from A as of system time. And here we'll do a smaller as of system time value, so we still have the descriptor around. See what happens. We get a nice panic. Very exciting. It means we're getting somewhere, right? Back to the days of panic-driven development on the stream. Truly the dream. So what's happening here is probably that we forgot to update create table to look at the new timestamp. I think that's definitely what it is. So it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. This is the thing, right?
The data bank's too big. I have to narrow down the search. How are you going to do that? By guessing.
Hey, North Sage, thanks for the follow. So set creation timestamp to the as of system time that was stored in our as clause if there was one. Right. So I think in this case, we didn't have one. We have to say if params.p.semicontext as of system time for backfill not equals to nil, then we do this. I don't think we need this anymore. Basically this. I feel like that's kind of going to be the thing to do. I just want to get away from a lot of our shell scripts wrapping proto-C in various ways. Yeah, I get that. Getting the protobuf compilation stuff is quite difficult. Astronaut, thanks for the follow. All right, so let's do it again. As of system time must be provided on this top level Sobian. Okay, interesting. So I guess somehow we still haven't gotten away from our... So there's a couple of places that that's getting called from. So I'm sort of wondering whether... Oops. No, I feel like it's still getting thrown from that same spot. So I think this thing is not really used by anything but this random thing called scrub node, which is not really getting used anymore, especially not by the statement that we're running. So it's still got to be getting thrown from the optimizer. So what this is saying is that at some point, oh, you know what I bet this is? It's actually that we recall the planner during the backfill. And at that moment, that planner's as of timestamp for backfill is not set. And this is not set. You know what? Oh, this is kind of cool. Okay, so check this out. This is actually kind of interesting. So if I go over to where we set up this backfill, which happens asynchronously, by the way. I think it's down here. No, wait. Maybe backfill or something? Maybe backfill, create table as table.create query. Right, I think it's essentially that this string here, the fact that this is string is super sketchy, by the way, but that's just life, because we don't have a sort of reliable way to serialize SQL that isn't just stringifying it, essentially. I mean, we go to great lengths to assure that the AST that's created from a string, when you stringify it, it produces the same string. Like, there's a lot of tests and care gone into that, but it's never made me particularly happy that we don't have, I don't know, like a less how do I say? I don't know, just sort of more of like a regularly structured way of storing these ASTs, like maybe storing them in a tree instead of having, I mean, fundamentally it's annoying that you have to like re-parse this stuff, because the parser it's not the most efficient code. It's a pretty fat representation. You know, it'd be nice to sort of store a serialized protobuf or something like that. It's just we haven't gotten to setting that all up, and honestly, it's just a lot of work to go back and change all this stuff. So I think this is the thing that I'm caring about though. So like when we actually go and set up this backfill, in order to set this, the description of what the backfiller is going to do, like what select statement is it going to run? And again, remember, what's happening here is that we're saying, hey, database, go run this query, select star from A, later as you're filling out the results of this table, essentially. So this is getting run in the background. And the question is, what do we instruct that background process to run? And I think what's happening now is that we're accidentally instructing it to run this whole thing, select star from A as of system time minus 1 second. But what we really want to do is rely on the fact that we've set the timestamp for that backfill already in a different sort of out of bound way. And I think we just want to serialize the select. So we want to remove this as of system time thing. I think that's what's going on. So I think what we can probably do is just mess around with this thing, get final source query. I think what we want to probably do is like make a, do we have to like, ooh, is it sort of annoying though? Is it annoying? It's sort of like we don't want to serialize this thing any longer. Maybe what we can do is, I don't know how to do this actually. I mean, we're already doing this pass through to reformat table names. Actually, I'm a little bit confused right now. Oh, I see. This is actually, this is kind of weird. We've hijacked the sort of format recursive walker thing to edit the names of the tables, and that's what's going on here. Then we do another pass to actually format the node into a string. So, I mean, we could theoretically add a little piece of instructions to this format context to skip as of system time clauses. I feel like maybe we should just do that. Maybe. We have all these flags, right? So I could add a new one that says format skip as of system time clauses. Is that legit? prevents the formatter from printing as of system time clauses? I don't know, why not, right? Why not? So then over here we can add tree dot, this needs to be exported. Okay, so then all we have to do is go into our as of time AST node. Where does that live? I was just looking at it. As of clause, and we get to say if not ctx dot flags dot has flags format skip as of system time clauses, then this. No, we want all of it. All right. Okay, let's try that out. Let's try that on for size. It's kind of annoying that the packages that I'm changing end up causing this like giant recompile the world sort of thing, but maybe this would go away in a Bazel world or something. Like, what is this docgen stuff? Why do we have to do this? Just get the feeling that there's something that we're doing that's not necessary. Like, look up here, you know, when you change, how come we're recompiling both of these things? Something just feels like it's set up a little bit wrong in the makefile, and we're using the parallelism of the makefile to like redo work or something like that. It's like you really want the Go dependency manager and the makefile dependency manager to work together a little bit better. Okay, so let's make it happen. We'll create our table, we'll insert into our table, we'll do our create as of system time -1 second. So something worked, which is actually pretty sweet. I guess the next question is, did it actually do it though? So how are we gonna check that? Okay, so what we can do is we'll make a new table. We'll make a create table D, but instead of just running this, what we'll first do is add a new row to C, insert into A, values 4. And then if we run create table D as select star from A as of system time -30 seconds, then we won't have seen the 4. So that's the hope. So if we do select star from D, hopefully we'll just see 1, 2, and 3. All right. So that's actually pretty sweet. Did we do it? Did we do it? I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm feeling pretty good about this. It wasn't actually as hard as I was expecting. Assuming that it's even right, which So far, I don't know, not positive. We can look at the diff, how about? So we had to change, right. We added this weird format thing. Why did type check change? Oh, that's where semi-context is in the type check file. That's really random. So we added this new field for as of system time for backfill, which I guess I didn't love that, but I don't know. I think it works fine. We added this new formatter thing to avoid the as of system time clause when we reformat the backfill query. We add this new state variable that explains the is as of output. We added a new case to is as of. Oh yeah, we probably wanna, yeah, in create table, this is where we actually do something. We set this creation time thing, and this is sort of the magic that does everything. It's kind of neat, like we didn't actually have to change too much guts. We just like, that's what I was hoping. Just we could change the outsides, and the guts would still do their thing. I think I need to revisit this though, because I left this to do and I didn't ever fill it out. So inside of create table node, if n.n.as. It's basically like, if we see a, I mean, do we even need to say anything here? I guess we might as well, just for safety's sake. So we'll say if and if this whole thing. Shouldn't get here in normal operation, but we'll check just in case. So we can return errors dot assertion failed, f backfill, or like we'll say ctas timestamp set, ctas as of timestamp set in explicit txn. And that's really about it. That's pretty simple. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a couple minute break, and then when I come back, we'll clean this up, we'll add a couple tests, and then we'll hopefully send a PR, ship it, actually get something done on stream, you guys. It's really exciting. Okay, I'll be right back. Hey guys, I am back. Demonetized by Fox. I use Goland. So I don't know. I don't think I really have my Goland configuration up on that repo. In fact, I definitely don't. But this is all just sort of default stuff. So if you haven't seen Go, I think I have like, don't I have an editor thing? Yeah, I do, right? So that's that. I don't know. I know people have mixed feelings about Goland because it's not free. You do have to pay for it, but I like it so much. Couldn't live without it. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and what do we do now? Do we write tests or do we play with a little bit? Should we just make sure that some of those protections that we put in are actually working? So if I make an implicit transaction, let's make a table, create table a int, we'll say begin. Whoops, what the heck is that? Say begin. And we're gonna say create table B as select star from, let's make this a bit bigger. Select star from A as of system time minus 30 seconds. This should fail. We don't have the way to do this just yet. Okay, unimplemented historical create table as unsupported in explicit transaction. And then this is what I was saying earlier. You can click this and it'll actually bring you right to that issue, which I think is actually pretty neat. I think people are into that, hopefully. Okay, so cool. That makes sense. And what else did we need to check for? I feel like that was basically it, right? Well, hopefully we won't support, like if I said create table foo as of system time, this should also fail. If I don't have a create table as, so create table foo a int as of system time minus 30 seconds, this should fail. So this just doesn't parse. Does that make sense? Yeah, I guess it makes sense. This doesn't parse because we just didn't bother to add the grammar rules for that. I think as of is a modifier to select. That's the reason. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and make some tests. I think my guess is that we're gonna have to modify some tests that expected this stuff to fail already. So we can start with that by searching for this message that we were messing with before, which said, as of system time must be provided on a top level statement. So here is a logic test that checks some of this stuff. And by the way, if you haven't seen our logic test stuff, the idea is that it's just sort of a really simple data-driven thing that allows you to write
Computers
SQL
hooked into over 1,000 data
and
banks
have
throughout
it
the world.
run and expect some output from the SQL rather than have to do that in Go, which would be really verbose and annoying, considering that, you know, we're a SQL database and we want to have some domain-specific language for our tests. It's just really about SQL. So we use this stuff all over the place. Hey, Jangtron, thanks for that follow. Appreciate it. So yeah, so here is an example, right? So we're testing that create table as does not allow an as of system time query. And this is now going to be allowed. The thing is that since it's an old timestamp, the error is going to be new. We're going to get something like no such table or something like that. So why don't we actually just run that test and see what happens? So we'll say make test base logic files equals create as. And then this should probably fail. That'd be my expectation here.
Computers hooked into over 1,000 data banks throughout the world.
Hey, Solar Truth, thanks for the follow. What is the Solar Truth anyway? I've always wondered that myself. The Solar Truth. The sun is at the center of the solar system. That's the Solar Truth. Okay, so what we see is we're running this in like 10 configurations for no reason, but we see failures every time. And what we see is what I was kind of saying, which is that we see that the relation test.public.stock does not exist. And the reason for that is merely that in 2016, this table didn't exist. So we'll say statement, well, we'll just say, yeah, statement error, relation blah does not exist. Do I have to escape these double quotes? I always forget. I guess not. And I guess I might as well put in this PG code too, since it's kind of a weird case, right? So PG code just lets you make sure that the error that you're getting back from the database is in fact of the right categorization. And this categorization is pretty important because clients like to switch on this categorization and do different stuff depending on it. I think this one means like, you know, object does not exist or something like that. So then I guess what we sort of want to do, I mean, how do you test as of system time stuff in a logic test though? It's like a little awkward because you don't want to have to sleep. And you know, if you do it sort of wrong, you might have a flakiness problem. Can I do like a as of system time -1 millisecond or something? Because I feel like that probably will never fail. So we'll say create table t copy as select star from stock as of system time -1 millisecond. Statement okay. See if that works. Durder, can you get the commit timestamp of a row in the table and use that as the as of timestamp? No, we don't expose a mechanism. There's a couple of things missing for that. One is that we don't expose a way to have a dynamic as of system time value because retrieving the as of system time value has to be done really early, or else like the system, we just haven't programmed into the system a way to have like a dynamic thing in here, like, you know, a subquery, for example, select TS from T or something like that. Like this is going to, I forget what it'll do, but it maybe will, let's see. So I'll say create table TS T timestamp, insert into TS values now. So if I tried to say, then I made another table A, and then I tried to say select star from A as of system time, select T from TS limit 1. This would be sweet if we could support this, but unfortunately we can't because of just various problems. I don't know. We haven't like coded the system to be able to learn to execute dynamic stuff in here. That's one problem. The other problem is that, well, maybe that's the only problem. Because what we can't, we do have a way to get the commit timestamp of any arbitrary row by saying select crdb internal dot mbcc timestamp from TS, I think. No. What the heck is it? Or maybe there's an underscore. crdb internal mbcc timestamp. Yeah. So you can't actually get the commit timestamp for this stuff. And honestly, I do think, yeah, I mean, if we supported subqueries, then presumably you could do crazy stuff like this, but I don't know. Coding Gym, thanks for the follow, by the way. Appreciate that. The timestamp, yeah, so I forget exactly how this is, but it's a representation of the HLC timestamp. So I think the right side or something is like the logical part and the left side is the physical part and something's in nanoseconds or something. I don't know. It's kind of messed up, to be honest, but like, it does have the full precision, so you can do what you need to with it. Let's find out. Why don't we find out? crdb internal dot mbcc time stamp. Oh, logical versus physical. So HLC clocks are the things that we use to do timestamp related operations in the database. HLC stands for hybrid logical clock. And a hybrid logical clock is a combination of a physical clock and a logical ticker sort of thing. So if you want to learn about that, I don't know too much about how this stuff works, to be totally honest. HLC timestamp, but you can probably learn all about it by going to some blog posts. Yo, Omaro Mendoza, thanks for the follow. Coding Gym, doesn't Coding Gym run a Twitch stream that I've been to? Did I make that up? Coding Gym. No, they don't. I made it up. Anyway, yeah, so the hybrid logical clock, it's very important for Cockroach, and I wish that I understood it better. But I guess it's like, yeah, partially ordered thing, 2 components, and you do it to get around the lack of true time, basically. Those Googlers, man, they've got all sorts of good stuff. So I guess you can use this thing. There's something called CRDB internal approximate timestamp. This stuff is sort of new. I haven't really played with it too much, but I guess if I run CRDB internal approximate timestamp on this value, then I get out an actual good looking timestamp and not some weird crap. So that's cool, right? I guess, yeah, honestly, if we just supported a subquery, if we just supported this, then I think we could do what you want. What's your use case though? It seems like a little bit convoluted to me, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Does your test framework let you grab a value from one query? Yes, you can do that using a let. Using a let. I think I added that actually. Oh, you're saying... Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, you are absolutely right. I did not connect what you were saying to what I was talking about. Yeah. That makes actually a ton of sense. Okay. So let's try it out. Why not? So stock. So if we then said, let's do this at the very bottom, how about? So test at create CTAS as of system time. So first, we're going to just check that things are generally working fine with the current. Yeah, you know, maybe we could, we'll do -1 millisecond just to start with. So we'll say stock is supposed to look like what? I guess we can just use this. Wait, can we? Yeah, I think we can. From, let's call this stock copy. And then what we're gonna do is we'll say statement, okay, insert into stock values. Then we'll add some new stuff into there. Cups, plates, forks, what about spoons? And then what we'll do.
Everybody knows that relational databases don't scale.
MD Layer,
because
thank
they
you
use
for
joins,
those 6 months of tier 1 subscription.
And right
How
to
you doing?
divs.
Hope you're doing super well. I hope you're about to beat Spelunky 2 as well. But really appreciate your support, man. So what we'll do here is we'll say select, say let TS, select CRDB internal 30 minutes into a running. Hades is pretty fun, man. It's a good game. I'm very into it. I might play a game of that after I'm done writing these tests actually, but we'll see where the night takes us. So we'll say select CRDB internal MBCC timestamp from stock where item is equal to spoons. And then I guess what we want to do is subtract 1 from this somehow. No, what we want to do is we want to actually use this built-in, right? So we want to say, this built-in is actually kind of handy. So if I say this, wait, create table TS, insert into TS values now. Okay, so if I say this, got this approximate timestamp, I've got this big timestamp, then I can subtract from it in SQL. That's actually quite neat. So I can say, get me this approximate timestamp and subtract, let's say 1 millisecond as an interval, I think I have to say. So then I get a timestamp 1 millisecond older, there's the millisecond, than the thing in here. So that actually seems kind of correct. So what I want to do is do this whole jazz in the test. So we'll say select CRDB internal approximate timestamp, this thing, -1 interval, -1 millisecond from stock where item is equal to spoons. And then we can say create table, statement okay, create table stock no spoons as select star from stock as of system time. And then the question is, can we just put TS here? Does this actually even work? Why don't we just test that this test is going to do something right? So we'll say test config is equal to local. Just to cut down on some of the timing here, we can specify to just run one of the many configs that each of these logic tests gets run under. Okay, so we got invalid target name for let. Wait, how does let work again? Let's search for it. So let in package SQL logic test. Oh, you have to put a $sign. It's pretty awesome. Pretty Perl-like, right? Who misses Perl? By show of hands. Okay, so column, oh right, obviously I've got to put the $sign over here as well. Another nice thing about this test framework, by the way, is you don't have to recompile a bunch of stuff to rerun the tests. That's one thing I really like about it, because we build that test binary and just use it on a different input file. Okay, so this is sort of working, but we don't have quotes, so that's easy to fix. Crickets from M. Dembski about the whole thing with Perl, right? Perl was kind of like one of my very first programming languages, actually. I went to Perl conferences, in fact, as a small high school child for some reason, because my friends were doing it. It was a lot of fun, but it was a little weird.
Everybody knows that relational databases don't
Hey,
scale
M. Dembski,
because they use
really
join-
appreciate the fresh
join-
tier 1 sub. Thank you so
join-
much. Means quite a
and
lot.
write to disk.
Thanks for coming to the stream, sticking around, chatting, and everything. It's quite nice. You started with PHP, kind of the same issues. Yeah. Right, so what I was gonna do is, now I've got to check that stock no spoons doesn't have any spoons in it. That's the point. So I guess I could do like a set operation to validate that stock no spoons is the same size as stock. The work that's gone into PHP 7 and 8, I have no idea what's in PHP 7, 8, or 6. I've never used PHP my whole life. I feel like I'm missing, I don't know if I feel like I'm missing out, but I feel like I'm missing some common ground with people who have used a lot of PHP. A lot of people have. So what we want to say is, I guess we just want to say query I select count star from stock no spoons where item is equal to spoons. They do fancy JIT and have gradual typing. That sounds cool. Cool. I mean, I feel like this is pretty legit, you guys. I feel like we're doing it. I feel like we did it. What we also want to do is test those error cases. So let's put a comment here too. So we're gonna say run a CTAS at a timestamp before we inserted the new value and make sure that the newly created table does not contain the new value. So this must be reading in your test data file and spinning up subtests for each of these cases. Yes, exactly. So we don't actually use the subtest
I have to narrow down the search. How are you
thing,
do that?
the Go
By
subtest
guessing.
thing in this framework. You actually can ask for one. If I said subtest blah, I think this is going to make a actual Go subtest, but it's sort of pointless. Mostly it just runs a big single test case and aggregates the failures, and yeah. We just sort of wrote a test framework for this, basically. It like vaguely uses the Go test framework, but mostly it's not. Yeah, speaking of the Go test framework, I mean, I'm very interested to see what happens with this whole Bazel thing. I was talking a bit earlier on the stream about how we were trying to adopt Bazel for our build system. And as I understand, I mean, I think the whole Bazel, Gazelle, Go integration stuff has its own Go test runner. But I'm very interested at the idea of being able to customize that test runner actually, because I don't know. Like, for example, one problem that we have is how do we understand the state of our build on the master branch or our release branches? Or how do we get statistics on how frequently tests flake or how frequently the infrastructure breaks? Right now, we sort of rely on our CI system, which we use TeamCity for this, to get those statistics. But TeamCity is just not really working. It's not scaling. It's not like really giving us easy access to these statistics. So I'm very interested in being able to write some code. I mean, just think about it. You could easily say for every test, you could just have a counter and persist that counter to some central database or something like that. But the thing is that in Go, there isn't really an easy way to hook in to the testing framework that would allow you to do that sort of thing. So I find that a little bit frustrating, and I'm really quite hoping that with Bazel, I don't know, we'll be able to mess with that stuff a little bit more. I hear that you can, and maybe it's just that they've done some of this work for us and we could have done it ourselves, but in any case, I'm kind of excited for it. Hey Converge, how's it going? Nice to see you. Alejandro Du, thanks for that follow, by the way. So I don't know if you guys have experience doing stuff like this, but very interested to hear if you have. It's kind of a hard problem to solve, these big at-scale testing stuff. I'm sure the people who work at big companies have their own stuff internally that they can't tell me about, but yeah, just thinking about how to do it. No idea how Bazel and Go tests work. A lot of work to make Go programs more amenable to being built by different systems, but I'm not sure about the test story. Yeah, exactly, right. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll have a blog post on it pretty soon. So run a create table as a timestamp before we inserted the new value. Make sure that. Okay, cool. So honestly, that's my test. Okay, so now we can say test that CTAS doesn't mix with explicit TXNs. Wasn't there another case? Yeah, or normal create table. I guess it's not just CTAS, it's CTAS as of system time. Doesn't make with explicit TXNs. So we'll say statement error. Well, statement okay, begin. Statement error. Will fail. The old TK. Oh my gosh, the channel points thing. I gotta figure something out with that, man. I gotta figure out something with that. Lately I feel like I just haven't had the like off-stream energy to put stuff into the whole streaming side jobs, if you know what I mean. I just haven't had it. So we're gonna make this error. Create table will fail as select star from stock as of system time. -1 second. On-stream code reviews for channel point. That's very vulnerable. It makes sense. Test CTAS at TS, not just TS -1. That's a good idea. There is that one guy, MD Layer, who does, his whole stream is like code reviews on stream. I forget that guy's name, but it's pretty interesting. A lot of people do his stuff, but I think it's because that's his whole brand. So CTAS, yeah, what does it mean to do CTAS exactly at? I feel like what we would want to see is, we would want to see the spoon. Yeah, exactly. Strager. I don't know how to say his name, but that's exactly who I mean, M. Dembski. So we'll grab our timestamp here. I guess we can just add another millisecond back to it or something like that. Pronounces it like swagger. Stagger. Got it. Cool. Or stragger, rather. It's a cool idea. I'd get exhausted of repeating the same commentary over and over about good best practices. No, this interface should not have 30 messengers. Okay, so we'll add 1 millisecond back to our timestamp here. And then what? Stock. I guess in this case we want to see the value. We want to see everything. So we'll take this exact same thing. Make sure that testing exactly at the timestamp produces a result that includes the new row. He was showing how shared libraries work and he broke his system. Sounds like we should watch this together.
If I move this file to lol and I run ls, it no longer runs because that file is missing. And probably every command is broken, including MV, because I'm a fucking idiot. So, I forgot that I should check MV. So, I'm probably screwed now.
That's pretty hilarious. Oh man, so how did he get out of that one? An async struct that implemented an interface but did all its work by starting Go routines at each call to avoid blocking the caller. Oh man, that does sound scary. He catted the file back in place. Wow. Unsupported binary operator string plus interval. Oh, you know, this is not going to work. I do need to reselect. It's kind of annoying, but I do need to do this just because we don't support arithmetic in this as of system time thing for a kind of stupid reason. What's up, Heaven's Light? Lucky that cat worked, huh? Otherwise he would have to like enter it in by hand, byte by byte. Okay, what's it saying now? Error while processing. Error while processing. Oh, no expected error provided. Okay, so the error that I expect here is what again? The error that I expected here is that thing about the explicit transaction. So that was in... we can just put blah, then we'll see what it actually does. Unimplemented historical create table as unsupported in explicit transaction. Oops, that's the wrong file. LD preload. Yeah, that stuff I just don't even know, man. I don't know any of that stuff. And I'm not sure how you learn it, to be honest. It's Linux magic. Nice. So we'll roll back here. And then there's one other thing that we wanted to try, which is to make sure that we cannot run create an ordinary bare create table with an as of system time specifier, which does not make sense. This does not work at all because of the parser, but we might as well have a test for it. So create table will fail a int as of system time -1 second. It's just extra exciting that he did it on stream. Extra exciting. Okay, so here we have just a regular old syntax error. So we can say it's a syntax error. Great. Okay, so I think that's basically it for the test that I wanted to write. I feel like probably I could do something more I could put like some aggregates in here. I know that based on the way that this stuff is implemented that it won't really matter. So maybe it's just not worth it. I don't know. Out of curiosity, did we have other tests for this though that I need to edit still? My first summer using Linux, I ran some command with sudo to make a backup, but got the argument order wrong. Oh, did you do what is that called again? DD, the old DD thing. DD out of order backwards thingy. It was something like that. Am I able to check code coverage with this framework? Always found that pretty vital in Go. So code coverage is a very sad state of affairs in Cockroach because of some really confusing stuff about how the code coverage thing works. We have these scripts for code coverage that haven't worked in like a super long time for some reason because like, where is this thing? Oh yeah, build. We just haven't figured out a way to like get all of these packages to merge properly. If you run this stuff, it just like doesn't really work for some reason. Like, oh yeah, we get this error. What is it called? It's called like inconsistent counts or something like that. Inconsistent counts code coverage Go. Yeah, this thing. Okay, you see this? Inconsistent num statement when line clauses are used or something. I don't know. Like this isn't the actual issue, but it's something about inconsistent num statement that I just haven't been able to get to the bottom of, and I haven't spent the time to do so, or maybe even file an issue. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But the point is that our coverage stuff is like completely broken and I haven't fixed it, and it's a bummer. Wait, that's the wrong search now. What I wanted to search for was this top level business. Okay, so we still have quite a few different. What is this? As of test. Kind of seems like we have another set of tests for this. I don't know why they're separate, but I don't think I really need to mess with these. I feel like I can leave them alone. Subquery correlated, not something I care about. Views. So this is gonna work now, right? How come, why are we retesting this stuff in here? I don't really get it. Sort of seems like the same test case from the other file. Oh, I see. Ensure that creating a view doesn't leak any session level settings that could affect subsequent as of system time queries. Oh my gosh, there's an issue for this. That's exciting. Let's take a look at this issue. Create view sets avoid cached descriptors on the planner, but does not set it. Oh my gosh, this is gross, honestly. I don't even know what to do about this problem because I just don't think this is how the code really works anymore. I feel like I can just delete this test, honestly. No, okay, I'll just change it to be another thing that is also invalid, just to double check that we're still good to go. So I think that if I said, okay, we'll say create table, wait, do we have a table up here that we can mess with? T, right? In table T. So down here, I think I can say insert into T, select DT from T as of system time. Yeah, I think this should also fail with the same error. And this file was called what? Views? Okay, so that's good. What's up, Kane274? I am working on a addition to CockroachDB to allow you to do historical backfills for create table as. So this allows you to make a new table based on a query and put the timestamp that that query operates on in the past. And the purpose of this is to avoid contention. Okay, so, whoops. I always forget to turn off that gchat noise. So we've got this one, we did this one, and then this guy. I think we're good. I feel like we're good to go here. I feel like we did some good tests, and I think that we're kind of ready to make a little commit. So why don't we do that? We'll say, it's just files 1 through 10. So we'll say git add 1 through 10. Make a commit. So we're gonna say SQL add support for create table as of system time. System. Previously, it was not possible to trying to run a statement of the form create table as select from as of system time would fail with an error about I don't know, it just wasn't supported. Running a statement of the form was not supported. Now it is supported. Now it is supported. The semantics are that the table creation happens at the transactions action timestamp, but the backfill that's performed to fetch the data from the select is performed at the user specified timestamp X. This is useful for doing for moving data between tables or like into aggregate or view tables. For copying data or making aggregate tables on tables that are, or sort of from copying data. Let's just say this is useful for copying data from tables that are experiencing write traffic. Because specifying, yeah, I'll just say this is useful to experiencing write traffic. Reading the contended table's data at a historical timestamp avoids contention on the create table as. Good enough. Okay, so release note, SQL change, create table as select from as of system time X is now supported. Oops, I forgot to make a branch. Okay, so we'll make a branch called CTAS AOC, as AOST, AOC. Thinking too much about AOC. Another much more famous Twitch streamer. A Twitch streamer and politician, said her Wikipedia page momentarily. Okay, so we'll push this up. I feel like there was something that I just got a little bit concerned about. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we'll push this up and see what people think about it. I think there is something I might have missed, might have messed up a little bit, which is that I think that the create as of timestamp thing that we modified, I kind of think that something might go wrong if you see this is initialized to 0 for the first version. I feel like that might be actually important, and the fact that we set it right up front might actually cause issues. I seem to remember something about that, but maybe it's actually fine. I don't know. I truly do not know. AOC Among Us Prodigy. Hold on. My mother's calling me. I'm just gonna quickly mute myself and pick up. Sorry guys, one sec. I'm back. They had questions about... They're getting a new computer. It's really hard. Computers are really hard for everybody, but especially people who are older. Okay, so let's see. Add support for create table as of system time. I don't know. We'll try this out. I'm just gonna put a comment. One uncertainty I have with this is that the method I used to induce the backfill to be historical was to set the create as of, what was it called? Create as of time. Timestamp to be the as of system time timestamp as soon as we create the descriptor. It seems possible that this is undesirable as there are comments around that indicate, that seem to say, as we seem to set it to 0 to start out with in a bunch of places. Is that expected and also required? Okay. Okay, well, now what do we do? I feel like normally on this stream, I end up doing a project that like I cannot possibly finish, and then I don't finish it, and then I end up leaving before anything's finished. And so now I'm wondering, should I go back to something that I did earlier that I didn't quite finish? Should I just play some video games? Or what? Hades time? Yeah, maybe it's Hades time. The other thing that I was interested in trying is Disc Room. Have you guys seen this game? I think it just came out. Disc Room. This game seems really fun. Maybe I'll play this on stream. I don't know. Look, you like avoid some discs. Have you guys seen this? It's by the same people who made Nuclear Throne and stuff. Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time for video games. So you guys, if you're here for the programming, thank you so much for hanging out with me, working on some Cockroach TV stuff. If you do want to follow along with that PR, you can do so. Hopefully it'll get merged. It's exciting. Do something productive on the stream. But if you do want to do that, feel free to follow it up. But if you were just here for the programming and now I'm going to play video games and that's not exciting for you, please feel free to bounce, and I'll see you next time. Probably going to do another stream on Sunday with random stuff, and then back to Cockroach TV stuff next Friday. But yeah, you guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Time to switch up the scene. I did get this new sort of method of coordinating my various video inputs. It's a lot better. So all I have to do now, don't have to change the camera, don't have to do anything. All I have to do is turn on this switch and then press a button, and my monitor turns into switch, and then it starts getting captured by the computer. It's actually super cool, I think. And hopefully the stream won't die from changing too many windows, and it looks like it didn't, so that's cool. So let's turn off Spotify. And then we can switch over here. Well, bam, look at that. Seamless transition, isn't that cool? Okay, so let's change our category. Let's change our category. Hades Run, winners POV again. How about that? So what do we do, guys? What do we do? I've unlocked quite a bunch of stuff since we last played this on stream. I beat the game with this. Oh wait, was it this one? There are these hidden aspects you can unlock. This one is kind of crazy. It takes 70% of your life away. But I guess my goal right now is to just sort of unlock a bunch of these new weird aspects and just, I don't know, keep getting stuff. So I'll play with this aspect for now. So it's your cast loads the cast stones into the next attack. So this is actually pretty cool. So normally in Hades, if you press the cast button, it's gonna, you know, throw something at the enemy basically. But with this, the idea is that you can load them into your bow, I guess. So I can like hit that, and then the next shot that I do, it'll like toss all the cast gems at the person or whatever. So I guess let's try it. See what happens. I've got the Athena keepsake on. Is this a game that I made? No. Oh my gosh. Leasing Gods, 1000% no. It's a popular and also awesome game called Hades that people are playing a lot of right now. Yo, Halt and Catch, what's up? DB and Hades, exactly. That's the style. Okay, so I guess we've outgrown 2 heat, which is exciting. This is the first time I'm doing more than 2 heat. So I think what I wanted to try here was...
Computers hooked into over 1,000 data banks throughout the world.
I still don't have any reason to do 2 benefits package ones. So benefits... Oh, wait. Extreme measures. Yes. I want to do the second level of extreme measures. Extreme measures is the thing that changes the bosses to be harder. So I think this is going to be changing both the first boss and the Hydra boss to be a little bit harder. Leasing Gods, thanks for the follow. Okay, so let's make it happen.
This ought to be interesting.
I like this game quite a bit, man. It's just such a good game. It just feels so good to play it. All right, so we got hold special for up to 200% extra base damage. Minimum range reduced. I don't really like these charge things. I feel like I never use them. Or your attack fires 2 shots side by side but has reduced range. This is interesting because I've got the cast thing set up, right? So I wonder if the cast sort of doubles. That'd be sick. I'm gonna try that one. You haven't beaten your first heat yet, but looking forward to it. It's not that bad. I feel like once you can beat the boss, then like the heat things are just not that hard. I have to get used to bow though, which is weird.
You're nothing.
Oh, the range is so short. This is gonna be hard, honestly. Do you see how short that range is? Oh my god. This might be hard, you guys. We might not win.
More witches?
I had an 11 streak, which I was pretty proud of, but then it died. So I guess the idea is I can charge this thing up with my cast, and then it does a lot of extra damage.
That darkness there felt different than before.
That darkness felt different than before? I wonder what that's about. Oh, I think it's because I unlocked the thing. It gives me 5 extra health when I pick up a darkness, so it's pretty useful. I do have to say that playing the bow with low range is horrible. I do not like it.
What wretched fools dare stand against you, cousin? Punish them, so that they learn something they ought to have learned in life.
Lucian from League. I haven't played League in so long. Okay, so I'm gonna grab Divine Dash. Can't say no to Divine Dash. It's just the best. It's just the best. Can't say no to Divine Dash. It deflects while you're dashing, which is just too good to say no to. It's in fact so good that I basically just want it every run. So I load up these things, and do I get like a I don't have any AoE with it yet, but I would like to get some AoE on the cast to help me. I think that's going to be a really important thing. So Demeter. Maybe I will take some Demeter boons. Okay, let's take some random trap damage. That's always cool.
Zeus. He has just a disgusting sense of humor, little sprout. He'd have you think he sired half the countryside. I have to shudder at the very thought.
Okay, so Crystal Beam would be a really weird cast to do here because it wouldn't really do the AoE. It's going to drop stuff. I think it makes no sense. While you have no casts, take 10% damage less and deal more. 60% special. I feel like I'm going to take that. I feel like that's going to be good. So I'll take the darkness here so I can get the extra health. New monsters and variations later in the game. I agree. It's just such a good game. Took some unnecessary damage there for sure. This game is all about trying to take 0 damage, I feel like. Alright, anything here that we want?
Let's see.
Eye of Lamia. Chaos Gate. I feel like we don't want any of this. So we'll take a Zeus. These guys. These guys are really easy with Divine Dash, I feel like, because they can only do damage with their bombs. And if you dash a lot, you're just always deflecting their bombs.
Anyone else?
I gather Lady Demeter's already got a frigid hold on you. Certainly not the warmest member.
Okay, so we can, ooh, see, this is going to be pretty cool. Electric Shot gives me burst of chain lightning that bounces between foes. I don't really like the Zeus Call. I don't really like this one. Okay, so we're going to do Electric Shot, and that's what's going to happen when we load up our attack. Oh, look how cool that is. Okay, so I load up my attack, and if I shoot, I get that sort of neat effect. This should be fun. It's a little weird, but excited to try it. Oh man, that's so strong. It's a little annoying you have to like charge it, but I'll take it. This is like high DPS. Feels pretty good. Okay, do we take heart or shop? I think we take heart. We still don't, we sort of want to save our money for a long time. That's what I've been doing lately.
Okay.
Like I don't really buy too much stuff. Got a Chaos Gate. I feel like I'm doing so much DPS for this stage in the game that the gameplay is just like, should have more enemies or something. Okay, so we'll take the heart.
Much better.
We'll go to our... Ooh, there's also a trove. 150 gold? I feel like yes.
How bad could it be?
We'll definitely take that.
Those troves are not for you.
Thought this was a Golang stream. Bro Hanser, you missed 2 hours of Golang. But what's up? We did something pretty cool, actually. We did a create table as of system time. And I think it kind of works, so that's actually pretty dope. I'm pretty psyched about it. It was easier than I was expecting.
I can take it.
Time zones are annoying? Are you in a different time zone somehow? Wait, what? Oh yeah, obviously you're in a different time zone. Big facepalm. That makes a lot of sense. I'm like, people travel in this day and age, but that's not what you're about right now. Yeah, it was a little weird. Yeah, right, I knew that. I swear I knew that. It's just COVID, you forget that people are traveling. Basically, yeah, it's kind of weird because you want the creation code to be at the like current timestamp and then the backfill to be at the past timestamp, and like just propagating that was slightly annoying. It wasn't super hard actually. There was like no big reason why we couldn't have done it, but yeah, I think it could be good though. Anyway, okay, so let's see. For the next 4 encounters, dash is minus 42% range. Boons have 27% chance to be rare or better. That seems super sick. Feature that people would use. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. People are gonna use it all over the place. I'm telling you, it's gonna be super sick.
Should be worth it soon.
People want it. People want it because they want to be able to do the create table as under contention. That's like the big thing. So if you can avoid the contention, you're gonna be a lot happier with just like all sorts of stuff, I think.
Then here we go.
So my dash right now super sucks, but I feel like it's not gonna matter. This is the thing where I just have to survive for 45 seconds. Oh my god, I'm so slow. This dash is like really bad. I'm just like playing defense, I think. That lighting is so good. Oh my god. These things, like, normally I'm like running around like trying to kill a ton of stuff, but honestly you can just run away from things and you're gonna be completely fine.
Time's up.
Alright, take my key. And we'll do this guy.
Just on a little break.
You know, I was just thinking, sir. Sometimes I am a little envious of you and Baldy there.
This is so
You
funny.
seem to have things pretty figured out.
There's
I feel
Sisyphus.
frustrated with myself quite often and don't always
And
know
his
who to
name,
turn to.
the name of his boulder is Baldy. But you only find that out after like talking with him like 10 times or something.
Well, I just think you're in a tough spot lately, Prince. But you'll get through. As for old Baldy, why, by all means, do not hesitate to lay your troubles on him if you like.
Where are my classics majors at?
A while back.
So I can just walk up and talk to him and chat. That's all it takes.
Oh my god, they're gonna let me talk to Baldy?
To make a friend sometimes, indeed, Highness. Now here.
Okay, do I want healing? I'm pretty close to full health. I feel like that would take me over, so it's not worth it. I think I'll just take the money.
I got you covered, Prince.
Cheers, mate.
Baldy.
Baldy, I'm Zagreus. Good to make your acquaintance. I know that friends are difficult to come by here in Tartarus, and so I'm grateful that you seem to be a trusty one.
Baldy can't talk.
Okay.
I think he likes you.
That's funny.
Of coin there.
Can I give him a gift?
Not so bad.
I don't have any nectar. In this game you can like gift people stuff, and it's nectar, but I don't have any with me right now. For his internal torment, yeah. Okay, so I've got me 50. I think I'll just take this heart.
Just what I need.
Should I take this? I'm a little nervous to fight the boss with this terrible dash, honestly. I feel like I have regrets, but I guess I'll be fine. This would give me maybe a cast. or poison on the attack. I feel like I'm holding off for a Ares cast, but maybe I could take it on the attack. Okay, I'll see what I get here. Ooh, or Strong Drink. Strong Drink is so good. I feel like I have to take Strong Drink. Yeah. Take Strong Drink. So Strong Drink, if you see a fountain, it restores all of your health, and then you get plus 4% permanent damage, which I think is pretty sick. Am I gonna regret not buying this health? If I die, I'll be really sad. I mean, it's wasting 24 health points, so like about half. But I think it's worth it. I'll just buy it. Whatever. Let's go. Do our boss fight.
Megara?
I can't believe it. You signed the Pact of Punishment. Have you completely lost your mind, or just trying to insult me?
Well, if you're going to be so rude about it, maybe a little of each. Though what do you even care which pacts I sign or don't?
I'm not an idiot. I see what you're doing. You want to be punished?
Wow.
Then come on.
That's like a little, it's kind of out there. All right. I feel like my only DPS is actually that like lightning thing, which kind of sucks right now, but oh yeah, I've got my special too, which does the ice, so I gotta remember to use that.
Set.
The slow dash is like really messing me up, to be honest. I'm really getting destroyed because of this slow dash. I honestly might lose a life to Megara, so embarrassing. Okay, that was really close. Ah, scary. Yeah, there were 2 of them because of the heats, exactly. Sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 3.
Yes.
That was close. I'm glad I bought the extra health, right guys?
Coronach shuddered when I picked this up.
Oh man. But now because of Strong Drink, I get to replenish my entire health bar, which is pretty sick, not gonna lie. Love that.
Megara failed again.
Don't mind me, Father.
All right, so here I like to take the extra. I do the same thing with keepsakes every game, which is like maybe a little bit boring, but just get the extra money, which feels good. Extra rarity for a boon. I usually like to take this one. I feel like it's worth it.
Up we go. Done.
Slow dash, it's brutal. Okay, I think it's just one more level with the slow dash, and then that'll go away. Really need it to go away. Okay, so I can take darkness or nectar. I will take the nectar.
All aboard.
Oh my god, just one-shot those guys?
My bone from Master Chaos has evolved.
Yay, okay, so I've got my fast dash back. Feels good. I can take shop or pomegranate. I will take the pomegranate. So pomegranate lets you level up one of your boons, which just generally lets them do a little bit more damage or a little bit more of their effect. God, this is so good. Just I felt really bad with the low mobility, but with the high mobility, I feel like it's a really good combination. It's just so high damage, it's like ridiculous. Okay, so take my pomegranate. Let's see, so my special is stronger, up to 84% from 60. Probably want to just improve the cast, right? Because that's the thing that's been really doing so good. Might as well just keep making that OP. So I'll take the extra cast damage. Okay, so do I do a Zeus or a Demeter? I think I'll take the Zeus.
Time for another voyage.
Ah, the Barge of Death. Fun little mini boss. Just crushing those. Oh my god, it's the bouncing too. It's like really out of control. These blue guys like shield the other people, so you kind of want to kill them quickly if you can. Do you have to aim the arrow? You kind of have to aim. It's controller. I could turn off auto aim, but I would probably suck.
In the name of Hades.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so do I take Jolted or do I double down on the Lightning Strike? This could be cool. So Jolted, next attack. I think I'll take the Lightning Strike. So this is going to make it so that every one of my attacks, and not just the ones that I charge up, have the lightning. Seems good. Yeah, there's like an option. Aim assist while attacking, automatically lock onto opposing range. So yeah, I'm a scrub. What can I say? It's still pretty hard. I feel like this build is not showing off how difficult this game normally is, but I don't know. Maybe, yeah. We'll see if I survive long enough. Just the chained cast effect thing is just like really, really good. Extra gold, I will take it. Yeah, you definitely do need it on a core. For sure. Just aim assist, not auto aim. God.
That's quite enough.
Finally.
Alright, key or gems? Take the gems. Key and gems are both like metagame currency, so they don't do anything to the run. Alright, so shop or pomegranate. Take the pom again. I think then I get to fight the boss, which is, this will be the first time that I'm fighting the boss with the extra level or whatever, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like.
Gods grant me strength.
Do I upgrade attack, special, or dash? I feel like here I want to do dash because I'm using it so much. Special I feel like I don't use that much. I'll do the dash. This does a little bit more damage. Alright. Here we go. Oh, whoa. So it's in a different arena.
The deadly Hydra chamber I expected.
It's like way smaller. It's kind of scary.
Loaded up.
Normally you have like a huge amount of space to work with for this guy. And he spawns little buddies, that's what he does. So like after you damage him a bunch in the beginning, then he's gonna spawn a bunch of little friends. And I guess they, oh my god. They all appear on these islands. But I'm just sort of shredding through them because I think I'm doing a lot of DPS right now. In the third phase, he spawns like way more of the little buddies. I think it's like twice the number, so we'll see how I do there. But this is so far mostly manageable. Here's the lots of buddies phase. The good thing about deflect is that it just does a ton of damage to people who do a lot of projectile attacks, if you can get them all. So I find that really a nice reason to always go Athena. Who am I missing? Nobody. Alright, GG Learny. Not so bad.
Hydra heads were never meant to fly.
It's an easy heat. I think adding the boss levels is just like extra fun. I feel like the hard heats are just the ones that change the enemies to all have more health or more damage or something. Those are usually struggle more with those. Then I get the full health restore because of that boon, which is super good. Okay, so here, normally I take Harpy Feather Duster, but I'm thinking maybe this run I'll ask for Hades, because I not Hades, Ares, because I love the Ares Call. I really want the Ares Call. Well, or do I want Artemis Call? Artemis Call is also really good. I'll do Artemis Call, I guess. Because I feel like it fits with my bow and arrow character right now. Don't want that stuff. Okay, let us go.
Cheers.
So Artemis is all about critical hits. And Ares is all about, he has this like sort of doom effect and like this sort of swirling blade thing that you can cast, which is really, really good. But I feel like it doesn't fit with this build as well. Ooh, I could take another Chaos. Do I want that? I'm a little scared. Because I feel like well, I'll just do it. So with these Chaos things, it's like, he takes a little bit of damage, and then you get a boon that hurts you, but then helps you after a few rounds. And that's why my dash was slow for a while in the beginning. So here it's kind of like, ooh, a legendary Chaos boon. Well, this is not worth it. So this gives me +1 Death Defiance, which I don't need an extra one of those. So here's, I can't attack, and then I get +91% damage on Dash Strike. And then I got attack does +61%, and I get an Inferno Bomb. I'm definitely going to take that one. That one's super easy to defend against because I've got the dash deflect. So this is just going to be free damage if I can survive for a few rounds, which I think I'll be fine with. It's all about the dash, dude. It's like, if you can get the dash timing right, I feel like most people in this game are pretty easy to deal with. Okay, so I can take... Wait, what was my... Did I not get a boon? Or did I get darkness or something? Okay, so I can take gold for money. I don't want that. Boon upgraded rarity, Chaos Gate. I think I'll skip here. And I can buy, or I can do a Hermes. I think I'll take a Hermes because I do think that having a little bit of extra, is it extra dash or extra speed? It's really good for the survivability of the final fight, which is really the most important thing in this game, I feel like, at least at this heat levels. Can you survive the final boss? Ouch. It's like mildly annoying. So the guys in this stage, they often come back as like ghosts that you have to kill, and if you don't kill them, then they come back again. But both times that they die, they drop a bomb. It's a little bit irritating. Okay, so I've got my Artemis keepsake, which I guess is why he's saying this. So I can do faster special, faster attack, or side hustle, which gives you extra coin. This kind of sucks. I don't want any of this. I guess I'll take faster special, since it's pretty slow right now. That is a bit better. So extra coin for Trove. I feel like I might as well take that, right? I'm at 140 health, so if I don't drop below 140, or like maybe 130, it'll be worth it.
And vanquish the intruder.
Oh god. Chaos. Chaos. Okay, so I took 10 damage for 121 gold. I feel like that was easily worth it. Ooh, this sucks. So it's either Artemis or Hammer. I feel like I have to go Hammer. I wonder if I'll keep Artemis, even though I've skipped her here. Hope so. Okay, so I can do +3 base damage for each consecutive hit to a foe. I don't want that. Attack hits up to 3 foes. And then power shot, easier to execute and deals 150% damage. I'll probably take that, especially because it's a prophecy. I feel like I don't really want any of these, but might as well take the last one for the prophecy.
All the firepower I can get.
Okay, so now I get to take Artemis. Feeling like I'm losing a little bit more health than I want to be, especially because now I've got to hate this guy. This guy's really hard to deal with. So he just keeps spawning the ghost things, which you can run around and kill. You also be having to be killing the main thing at the same time. Oh, it's actually pretty good because I've got these chain effects. Alright.
Farewell for now, sinister ball of butterflies.
So let's see what I get for Artemis. I'm hoping for the call.
You're very capable with Coronoct. Now I can hit a bullseye in my sleep, but you'll be
So her
right
call
there with
just
me
does a
if I don't
huge
keep
amount of
practicing, I
damage,
think.
especially if you can wait until you get the full call meter. Alright, nice. Don't care for pressure points. Exit wounds is kind of cool here, I guess, but I'll stick with the call. That was my plan.
I'll make every strike count.
Okay, so here I can take, if I take that, and I get extra health. So this is Patroclus, and he's gonna give me a choice between extra health and a couple of other things that I never take. And this is, I get a +25 max health. I feel like I want to take Patroclus because I just want high health for the Minotaur fight. So I'll take Patroclus here.
You must have met so many great heroes in your day, having fought alongside Achilles. Do you still keep in touch with any of them here?
Great heroes. Haven't you seen by now what they are like, stranger? Not all entirely what they're cracked up to be. But there were good ones, yes. Suppose they're mostly keeping to themselves, like I am here. Perhaps we'll run into each other down the line.
Okay, so I will take the Hydrolite Gold, which gives me the +30% health when I enter a chamber. And then do I do Coin or Zeus? I think I do Zeus. And I'm hoping Zeus, who do I want from Zeus? I don't know. Oh god, this is a scary looking. Well, except for all this like ridiculous chain damage I do. Just out of control. So good. Oh, and I think the plus whatever percent normal attack damage from Chaos I had kicked in, so that's why I feel like I'm doing a lot more now.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. I got Jolted or God Gauge or Lightning Rod. I feel like here I probably want to do... Is Jolted that good? So Jolted is like if you have it, then if you attack, then you hurt yourself. Lightning Rod is your collectible cast things, deal damage every 1 second. And I do use that a lot, but I feel like I immediately collect them. So I feel like I'll take Jolted.
Is my hair sticking up?
Is my hair sticking up? Okay. Ouch. Just damage for no reason. I can be using my call now too, don't forget about that. Okay. Pomegranate or shop. I think here, so this is the last one before the boss, I think. I'll fight Minotaur. I feel like I still go Pomegranate, honestly. I don't need anything from the shop. I would just like get extra health or something. So I'll take the Pom.
Good enough to eat.
And here, I think I'll go, I think I want to up call because it just does so much damage if you wait. It'll just like one shot the second stage of either of the bosses, I feel like. Okay, so now we get to fight Minotaur. See how this goes. I feel like this is going to be tricky a little bit with this build, but we'll see.
Asterius and I shall smite you back into the lowest depths of hell.
We will see about that.
You shall have what you came to see. I see you, fiend.
Here he comes.
You have a lot of nerve, Hellspawn, but little else.
I'm just doing huge DPS, man. It's really quite good. I'll watch out for that. Okay, so I've saved up my Greater Call. He's gonna pop his thing. I run away from this stuff, and then I think I can just probably one-shot him with my Artemis, I think. I love the Artemis one-shot, dude. It's really overpowered, but it's good. Normally that second phase is gonna be tough.
That ought to shut him up. Very nice.
Go talk to my friendly Shade.
My greatest fan.
All right. Extra health. I feel like I skip all this stuff. Switch to my Lucky Tooth, even though yeah, I just don't know what to put for keepsakes for the last one besides Lucky Tooth. Just like extra insurance, but I'm not sure if I need it. So it gives you an extra death defy. The way this game works is that you get a couple of like game overs basically per run, and Lucky Tooth gives you an extra one. But ideally you don't have to use any of them. That's the dream. Alright, so let's look for... So we've got an Artemis, a Hermes, 2 Palms. I'm never sure whether you want to buy that stuff first, before this stuff, or after. I feel like you might as well go do it first, because I don't care about buying the extra Titan's Blood. I feel like I'll take the Palms. So I've got 1,000 gold. I could do 2 Palms and a Hermes. Oh wait, no, not quite. I could do basically all of it but the Hermes. I kind of want the Hermes though, just for the survivability. I'll take the Hermes first.
That's what I need.
So I have Greater Haste, Side Hustle, Quick Reload. So I'll take the Greater Haste. That's just faster move speed. Really helps for the boss and in general. Then I'll take one of these Palms. I'll upgrade. Probably upgrade this cast, right? Because I use it so much. Or I could really upgrade the Artemis 8. I feel like I don't need that. I'll take the cast. Then I'll take these 2 boons. Any damage you deal has a chance to be critical plus 4%. Critical deals more. Critical, it has to be the first because I don't have any critical damage right now. And then that's it. Okay, so let's go do these rooms. We'll start with gold.
Maybe it's in here.
This is probably the worst part of the game. Hate these rooms. Got the poison. That poison effect really is irritating. I feel like I have huge, ridiculous DPS. Like, just one-shot the room. Important to take out these spitting things quick if you can, because they're the ones that just make everything so much more frantic. If you get poisoned, it feels like you have to solve it. Oh my god. Okay, let's just... Always taking so much damage in this room. Quite sucks. Okay. But luckily we have that fountain thing, so when we get to the end of this, we will be able to regenerate all that health. Will I miss Rohan? I already do miss Rohan, Panda Wine. I already do miss Rohan. Okay, so do I take the Palm or the Demeter? I feel like I take the Palm.
Why not?
And I upgrade... I feel like I upgrade my special. Never take the Palm? No, dude, the Palm is so good. What do you mean? I have all this extra cash. What am I gonna do with the cash? I think I'll upgrade my Artemis 8. Artemis 8 is just really overpowered. If you can get the full God Gauge, it just does so much.
Maybe this way. Okay.
Those rooms are weird. Like, I feel like I should have just killed them all with dash or something. Yeah, the double levels are good, dude. I don't know. I would also always take Palm over Shop, just if you have a normal choice. Because Shop, like, I just want to save my money. Wow, just get poisoned for no reason. I really am so bad at these rooms. I should just sit here and hit them from afar. There's no need to get close. Oh my god. Poison, man. It's so irritating. I know they have those audio cues for the spit, but like I can't ever avoid that shit, man. It's so annoying. Oh, that was easy. That was not. I feel like some of these end rooms in this area is like they're really hard. Some of them are not so bad. So now I've got 200 and I can buy the last boon. So definitely worth. Any plus heart effects are more potent. I definitely don't need that. When all foes are chill affected, they're 15% slower in decay. After you take damage and completely chill. I feel like it's... When all foes... This is just not going to help with Hades, though, I feel like. Or will it? Yeah, you're right, because there's only one boss. That's a good call. I think I'll do that.
That woke me up.
That is a good call. Okay, so now we'll take the Palm. I always avoid the skull rooms in this last part because, like, I don't know, it just seems pointless. But I'm not sure. Normally you get it after the third room. One time I had to do all 5 rooms though, which really sucked. Look at that one shot, dude. Overpowered build. No. Pointless rat damage. Never good. Yay. Okay, cool.
Oh, what is this stuff?
I'll upgrade. I guess it's Lightning Strike. I don't know. This is 7 damage. This is 6. I guess I'll take Lightning Strike. Get that strong drink. Full health recovery plus the extra 4% damage is just killer. Strong drink is so good. I feel like I always want that.
Come on out.
A gup.
I win this round, fish.
All right, let's go to do some Hades. Do some Hades fight.
Zagreus once more offers to Cerberus one of his
Favored sacks.
Bye for now, boy. Hate to keep you from your parchment work.
Parchment work.
I had other pressing business to attend to, but I cannot let you leave.
So my strat for this fight is basically going to be, let's see, for the first half, I think I'll probably wait until he pops his first creature thing, and then I'll do Artemis if I have a greater call. It's sort of a waste because she does more damage than his like second of the third sort of 3 sub phases, but I feel like it doesn't matter. I'm just doing incredible DPS right now. Oh yeah, I'm not even using my freeze. I should be using that more, I guess. Ouch. Okay, so I've almost gotten my... I think I'll... Do I save it? I think I save it till after he does his second ball. Ouch. Okay, so I'll pop it now, basically.
So this is how Olympus is
Look at that. It's so overpowered, dude. The Artemis. No! I was hoping to get away with no death defies, but it didn't happen.
You can't withstand me.
Beverage of choice at Cockroach? I don't know. There is no at Cockroach TV now, I feel like, because there's no office.
How?
Anyway, GG's to Hades.
You're quite strong.
Say hi to Hypnos for me. In the name of Hades.
So let's see, what was good about this? This was really good. This I feel like I didn't use. This was amazing. I don't know if Twin Shot really did. I don't even know. Anyway, this was sick. Super high DPS. Lots of fun. GG's. So let's go pretend to visit our mom.
The master of this realm, Lord Hades, states that death is inescapable. There is considerable credence to his claim.
Oh no!
Am I testing this game so I can create a database for them? Yeah, totally. That's definitely the reason I'm doing this. That'd be the dream, dude.
Well, that was.
I'm up.
Okay.
Welcome to the.
Hey, Orpheus. I take it you know all about the time I burned my father's hands to a crisp the moment I was born. He grasped me by the feet, and they caught fire. And that's why he still wears those fancy rings, to cover up the hideous scar tissue.
But that is such a splendid tale, Zagreus, deserving to...
Great.
Hold, child. I have a message for you from my daughters themselves, concerning the blade of the underworld in
Oh
your
my.
possession.
The blade of the underworld.
Wait, you mean the Fates? And Stygius? I'm honored that they would have taken any notice of me.
Maybe this is the
What
hidden
is it they
aspect
want
for the
me to
first
know?
weapon.
They wish for me to impart to you these words, so that your blade, in turn, may hear them uttered from your lips. I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone.
I see your kingly pardon from a...
I shall, child. Although...
Nice.
I'll take my chances as the... Electo's really something else. She must have been a real handful, huh?
My youngest sister takes a lot of pleasure from her work.
She could learn a thing or two.
She won't be learning anything from me.
I see. Here's all I caught. I'm much obliged. How's your relationship with Nyx been lately, Dusa?
Oh, Miss Nyx? I'll do whatever she says. Why? Did she say something about me? She did. Oh, why would...
Hey, no, it's not like that. It's just a feeling that I've had from glimpses.
Well, that's nice to know.
I don't know.
I
what
may not use
deal
those
is with
exact
that.
words.
I think soon I'm supposed to get
Keeping busy, resources
the
director.
resource
It's been
director.
a
What is
while,
this
resources
about?
Director. I'll be sure to pay you a visit whenever I'm swimming in underworld valuables and want to feel better.
Oh, so you can pay. This is actually so funny, like the way that the way that they keep runs making sense after the first half of the game is that you're like a black hat hacker essentially. You're like trying to see where the dungeon is missing in protection in the lore or something like that. So I'm a security specialist. It's so funny. Should you earn sufficient resources, you may donate them back to advance in rant and earn a badge. Okay, so it's just like really pointless.
I need help.
And I don't have enough resources to do it anyway. Cool. I feel like my main goal right now should be to unlock all the weapons.
Should check the garden.
Yeah, pen testing the underworld, exactly. It is pretty funny. So let's go unlock this sword. And then I think we'll probably...
How's it going?
Let's chat more.
Stygius, I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone.
Wow, so cool. Okay, so the aspect of Arthur.
What sort of name is Arthur?
Holy Excalibur, plus 50 life, damage reduction 20. Oh, that's so boring. It's just like, you're a tank. Okay, that sucks. Anyway, okay. I think I'm gonna call it, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. This was a really fun stream. I will stream again on Sunday, so see you Sunday if you're around. Probably towards the evening, and then again on Friday. But let's go find somebody to raid. Thanks for all of the subs and stuff, you guys. It was really awesome. Appreciate all of the support. Some other guys playing Hades. I think this guy, doesn't he usually do a lot of like Link to the Past runs? I don't know. I don't really know this person at all, but let's give him a raid and see what happens. Raid Andy. So, I don't know. Go watch some more Hades. Have a good weekend, you guys. Have a good Friday night. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. See you next time. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, we had or it was so whatever. 8 manuals or
Databank. Thanks for the raid, dude.